is Harsh, and in this video I'll be explaining you advanced file structure which most of the people working in Flutter industry use. This is the structure which people prefer when they are working on a more complex app which is going to be released in production. So let's get to the video. Talking about how it is different from the structures which I have already covered in my previous video. So generally in this type of file structure we separate all the files related to the backend or component. So all these files are separated into a folder. So for the UI part we have views, inside we have pages where we specify UI part. For API calls we have API directory. For managing the responses or calling some functions we have responses directory, and for database we have a models directory. So it makes it pretty different from both the file structures which I have previously covered in my videos. You can see all the directories which are present inside our main root directory. So all of these things are already explained by me in my previous videos, so you can check those videos through the link in the description or through the I button. The main things which we have here is in this lib directory or this lib folder. So let's get to these. So in lib directory we have some other directories except the main file. So the main file generally has the info about the screens which are being loaded when the app is run. So this is the main file. In this file we specify the colors which we want to use, or the primary swatch colors which will be used when our app will be running if we are not providing any colors to the things. Now we have some other directories in this lib directory. So let me walk you through all of these one by one. So firstly we have this API directory. So what API directory store is, it generally has all the files related to API. So if there is an exception, or what will happen if the correct response is provided by API, or what will happen if error is occurring in an API, so this API directory generally has all the data related to that. Next we have a blogs directory. So what this blog directory hold is, it has all the files related to blocks when we are implementing blocks in our Flutter project. Next we have models. So models store the files related to the model of our database. For example, if we are having a user database, so user will be having a string name, integer ID or integer mobile number. So we specify all this. The basic outlay of a particular field in a database is stored inside the models by creating Dart files in it. Now talking about the repository directory. So in this we can store some files where we are making some conversions from the data received by API into the model. So we generally store files related to that. For example, if we are getting some output from an API, and after that output we have to extract the data from that output and we have to make it available to the project in some format. So we'll be storing all those files doing this function inside repository. Now what responses has is, it generally stores all the code what we are using for sending our data or storing our data to some online storage. So it generally has those files and it get response from that file, and if we want we can send it to the place from where we are calling this function, else we can specify a void function and let the things be in the same file itself. So basically response as these files. Now talking about the utils directory, it generally has all the constant things which we are using inside the app. So we have a constant file for that, for all the constant things which we are using inside our app, and we have a styles file. So it has all the data, like for example if we are having a container and we are styling it, providing some border outline or providing some border weight to it, so we can specify all those things in this style inside the utils directory. Now talking about views, so it is one of the main directory which we are having inside lib. So what views has is, it has subdirectories in it. The first one is the auth, so it will be having authentication related to the services which we are using. So I am using sign up, login and Google login authentication. So we can specify files related to that here. Next we have pages here. So all the pages which we are creating in the project, or the UI related to them, is stored inside this pages directory. And inside the pages directory we have a separate folder for each screen. So for add event screen or for the login screen we have this particular directory. Inside this we have a widget. So this widget stores all the widgets which are being used inside the login screen. So here you can see an example of this screen or the subdirectories. Now talking about the partials. So partials are some of those those things which need not to be reloaded, like the circular progress bar indicator. So it always stays the same, just we need to call it according to our convenience. So we can store all those things related to that in this partial directory. So this was the walkthrough from the advanced file structure, which most of the people are working on some advanced level project or some good project in Flutter industry use. So that is it for this video.